Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Or if you spent time hanging out in my kitchen before, welcome back. I'm Amy, and this week we are making one of the most famousest of all famous comfort foods. A big old bowl of Fettuccine Alfredo, but not just any Alfredo. We are making a capsule Alfredo. And just like a wardrobe, you'll be able to mix and match everything in this dinner so much that your family and friends will think you have a secret caterer hidden away in your pantry. Are you a meat and cheese lover? Are you a vegetarian who wants heaps of amazing roasted and sauteed vegetables on your pasta? Do you want everything in the kitchen sink? Or are you as basic as I am and you just want a pile of noodles and sauce? Well, then for one, you're after my own heart, and I'm happy to make sure you get all the basic Alfredo your little heart desires. So let's get to cooking. First things first, preheat your oven to 425, and now let's get our water on for the fettuccine. And don't forget to always put some salt in that pasta water. This creates a better flavor as the pasta absorbs that salted water, and a better texture because the salt strengthens the protein structure in the pasta and makes your fettuccine less mushy. And who wants mushy pasta? While the pasta water is heating up, let's get our chopping and shredding done. First, I'm going to get my broccoli ready to be roasted because some seasoned and roasted broccoli is the absolute best. I want one decent sized head of broccoli, and I'm only using the florets for this, but you can use the stems too if you're a fan. I do love the stems when I'm steaming the broccoli and they get nice and soft, but for roasted, I am all about those little baby trees. Just trim off any part of the broccoli that you don't want. We're also going to season these because that is going to make all the difference. Toss all the broccoli you want to roast in a bowl and drizzle in about a tablespoonish of olive oil. Add a pinch of salt, a little pepper, just a few grinds or a small pinch, and then a good amount of garlic powder. I measure most of this with my heart, but I'll put some measurements in the description. The last thing I did was add about a tablespoon of melted butter because I just love that buttery flavor. Now get in there with a clean hand and mix all this up until the broccoli is coated with all that yummy oil and butter and seasoning. You could use a spoon or a spatula if you don't want to get your hands all buttery though. Then just arrange it all on a parchment-lined baking sheet and pop that broccoli in the oven for about 15 minutes or until those little trees begin to brown around the edges. Also, somewhere in here, shred up 2 cups of Parmesan cheese, although you can also do this first before starting anything else. I would recommend that actually, it just makes one less thing to do later. And right on cue, our pasta water is boiling, so we're going to drop our 16-ounce box of fettuccine into the water to boil. Stir this occasionally with a fork or one of those spiky pasta spoons so the pasta doesn't stick together, and cook it to the box instructions or to your desired doneness. Okay, back to our veggies. We need to mince up 1 clove of garlic and just set that to the side. This is going to wait until we make our Alfredo sauce later, but we want it done early so we can just dump it in the pan when we need it. We're also going to shred up some carrot, but you'll probably only need 1 unless you love salads as much as I do, because 2 whole carrots makes a lot of shredded carrot. Put these to the side too. We're going to need them at the very end. And I'm definitely going to snack on those carrot ends. Next is our mushrooms. I cleaned these up in a salad spinner to get the dirt off, yes, but also to make sure they were pretty dry. We're going to saute these, and wet mushrooms into hot butter is exciting, to say the least. For chopping these up, all I'm doing is cutting these into quarters. Mushrooms will shrink, and I don't want little dinky mushrooms when I'm done. I want a good sized, awesome bite of sauteed mushroom. So we're going to quarter these, and like everything else, I'm going to set them to the side when I'm done. The last veggie is corn, but all I did for this was just open up and drain 1 8.75 ounce little baby can of corn and put it in a bowl. At this point, it's been 15 minutes and my broccoli is ready. Let's pull that out, and holy crap, that smells amazing. We've got that beautiful browning on those little baby trees and the garlic and butter. It's just ridiculous. Pop these into a bowl because we're going to need our tray again for the corn. We're going to do the same thing, spread the corn out on the sheet, but these don't need anything but themselves and a little spritz of oil. Those little kernels are plenty flavorful all by their lonesomes. Back in the oven, 15 to 20 minutes, and that's it for the corn. Now it's time for our last little chop, which is just a full stick of butter. We're going to cube it up, but this doesn't have to be perfect. It's just so it melts quicker when we make our sauce. So just a quick cube up here. I like to put all the cubes right back onto the wrapper for easy dumping into the pot. And our pasta's ready. Now, before you strain the pasta, make sure to save some of that pasta water. We might need it for the sauce later. Strain your pasta and just leave it in that strainer until we have our sauce ready. And moving on to the chicken. I'm using 3 chicken breasts here, and I started by flattening them a little with a meat mallet so the entire chicken breast is a similar thickness. This is going to make the chicken cook more evenly in the pan, so we don't have one side that's barely cooked and one side that's chicken jerky. Okay, now let's whip up a little seasoning mix for our chicken. I started with some olive oil and added the usual suspects: garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, a good pinch of salt, and some black pepper. I gave this a good whisk, and that's our chicken seasoning. Oh, and so you don't make half of what you need like I did, I will put some measurements in the description below. Now we just take our yummy seasoning mix and pour it all over our chicken. You'll want to use clean hands and rub the oil and seasonings on both sides of the chicken so that all 3 of those chicken breasts are fully coated with that oil. Okay, here's where everything starts coming together. First, we're going to cook our chicken. Grab a large pan, this one is stainless steel, and heat it up on medium-high until it's nice and hot. Spritz a little water on it to see if it's hot enough. The water should skitter away and kind of bounce around in the pan. When that happens, add a good drizzle of oil and a pat of butter to the pan and then place the chicken. Cook these on one side for about 4 minutes and then flip them over and cook them again for about 3 to 7 minutes or until they're 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Then yank them out of the pan and set them to the side on a cutting board or on a plate to rest. I cooked these covered because I wanted to save those juices. In the same pan, add a little bit more butter if you don't have enough liquid left over from the chicken. If you're making a veggie version of this and you didn't make chicken, just add some oil and butter to the pan and heat them up until the oil is shimmering and the butter is bubbling. Pour in our mushrooms, and we're going to saute them until the mushrooms are cooked through and the liquid reduces to almost nothing. Make sure to stir these periodically because they will stick. When they're done, we're going to set them to the side as well, and now it's time for the final puzzle piece. Let's make that amazing sauce. Back to the same pan again because we want all that flavorful goodness in there. Turn the burner down to medium-low or even low at this point so the pan cools down a little because we really don't want the cream to curdle. Add the entire stick of butter that we cubed up earlier and use a spatula to scrape all that yummy flavor off the bottom of the pan. When the butter's all melted, add the clove of minced garlic and give it a stir so the garlic isn't just sitting in a pile in the middle. Now we want 2 cups of heavy cream, but add this slowly and whisk continuously while you add it to the butter. This will also keep the cream from curdling and make your sauce nice and smooth. Amazingly, this sauce only gets a few seasonings in it, and we're going to add 3/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, or more if you like a heavier black pepper bite in your sauce. Again, stir these up so this is fully incorporated into the sauce, and now we're going to bring this to the absolute gentlest of gentle simmers. We really don't want to boil this. We just want to get this to a very light bubble so it's hot enough to melt the 2 full cups of shredded Parmesan cheese we're going to melt into this pan. As soon as it bubbles, just a little bit, turn the heat down a little more so it doesn't bubble too much, and start adding the Parmesan by handful. Just keep whisking all this around until the cheese is melted into the sauce. Okay, so here is where we might need our pasta water. If the sauce looks a little too thick after you add all the cheese, pour in very small amounts of pasta water and whisk it in until the sauce is back to a thinner consistency. And while this is very hot, it will also be a little thin, sort of like a melted milkshake. But it'll thicken substantially as it cools, so only put in just enough pasta water to make it like a melty milkshake. Next, grab the pasta we left in the strainer and we're going to add it right into the sauce. Stir this all up until everything is combined and there's no bare pasta missing its sauce. Be careful though, because the sauce is really hot and it will be a little splashy at this point. And now dinner's served. So many different combinations are possible. We made 4 different kinds, but you can do anything you want. We also added a little bit of curly parsley as a garnish because it's pretty. We've got our basic no frills Alfredo with just noodles and sauce. We've got our pasta and chicken for everyone who just does not want veggies in their Alfredo. We have our lovely veggies only Alfredo with our tasty roasted broccoli and corn, sauteed mushrooms, and a sprinkle of shredded carrot. And last but definitely not least, the heavyweight champ, the completely loaded, dump everything on that puppy Alfredo for those of us who absolutely must eat every single thing that's on the table. You can make all of these and any other combination to feed even your pickiest eater. And the sauce, this sauce is fabulous. It's exactly what an Alfredo should be. It's smooth, it's creamy, it's cheesy. It coats the pasta beautifully, and every single one of these was amazing. And really, really filling. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe or leave a comment if you enjoyed my video this week. Maybe leave me a suggestion for your favorite comfort food and we can make it together in another video. Don't forget to check out the Exploration series every Wednesday. This week, we're heading to Mexico for a real Mexican pizza, and you do not want to miss that because that is an absolutely amazing pizza. I hope you have a fabulous week, and I'll see you back here next Sunday for another cozy and comforting home-cooked meal. Bye!